forecast first. Sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Well, a cooler day, but a sunny day across Central Illinois. And wow, the sunset tonight, just gorgeous out there over the last kind of 15 minutes or so. That's our view. There's a little bank of clouds there. And then you got that nice orange glow to the sky. That's a roofing dog on an Adams Memorial camera in Champaign. And those skies are seeing that little bank of clouds moving in, as you can see right there. Temperatures did struggle today. Okay, and now we're quickly falling back off with the temperatures into the upper 30s in Champaign. It's going to be a cool night out there. We're actually forecasting overnight lows to dip back down into the 20s by morning. We'll talk about a nice warming trend that's just around the corner and a little bit of rain that is in the forecast later into the weekend. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now from WCIA 3 News.
This surge in COVID cases is prompting new restrictions. The changes coming on Friday. Plus, people in one city can now be fined for not wearing a mask. How they're responding to new rules. And a law office in Central Illinois is closing after catching fire. We'll tell you what's next for that building.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 5.
This is not a stay-at-home order.
But it is close. Governor Pritzker announced new statewide COVID restrictions starting Friday. Good evening. I'm Paul Cicchini. Illinois is reaching a record number of new COVID-19 infections and hospitalizations. Today, the stark warning: the number of people sick in the hospital could multiply by a factor of 5. Capitol Bureau Chief Mark Maxwell is live in Springfield. So, Mark, the governor says without these new rules, tens of thousands of people could die.
Paul, we've watched these numbers for weeks. The red line of new infections, new hospitalizations, new deaths, all skyrocketing upward, showing little sign of slowing down or even starting to bend, raising that question of how bad could this really get, especially for hospitals downstate. Back in the spring, Governor Pritzker took action to issue that statewide stay-at-home order weeks before it ever reached the peak where we are now. So this time, it's lockdown light. Governor Pritzker urging people to stay home if you can, only go out if you must, and ordering tighter capacity limitations on businesses and on gatherings right at the very time when most Americans love to go out and shop and sit down for big meals.
We are asking you to choose Zoom instead of packing people in a room for Thanksgiving. Make alterations to your routines now so that we can be together later. The virus thrives when we gather indoors without masks with people that we don't normally live with. You should not attend dinners, events, gatherings, or meetings beyond your own household. This is a temporary set of rules that are designed by doctors to keep you safe.
And the rules aren't as strict as that first time in the spring. So will they work? The governor says that's up to you. It's up to everyone in how well they comply with the rules. But for businesses who might refuse, they can and very well may face fines. Courts have upheld judges in several cases upholding Governor Pritzker's emergency powers here. And these rules would also possibly carry that fine of up to $2,500 for businesses who do not go along with them. Governor Pritzker also said those recent victories in court did not play a role in the timing of his recent decision, but rather the ongoing upward trend, this rapid rise in hospitalizations and even in deaths. He also outlined the steep and painful economic cost that lies on the horizon here. Still no sign of any help coming from Congress. Dr. Ezike also did say there is some optimism those first vaccines could be available, at least for limited distribution, sometime in the next month or two. Reporting in Springfield, Mark Maxwell, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Yeah, certainly some help on the horizon if you're looking toward a vaccine, but definitely not coming from Congress anytime soon. Mark, thank you for that report. Now, we have a full list of different businesses and industries impacted by this new round of restrictions on our website, WCIA.com. But let's take a look at today's coronavirus numbers. There are more than 12,000 new cases, and that brings our statewide total to closer to 600,000 infections diagnosed since March. State's positivity rate down just a little bit, 14.5%, but there are more than 5,800 800 people in the hospital with COVID-19. 97 more people have died. That includes 13 from central Illinois. There have been more than 10,800 COVID-related deaths. Now, one organization decided to temporarily close its doors because of the rising cases. The Boys and Girls Club of Decatur is closed until January 15th. The club will thoroughly be cleaned, disinfected, and restocked with sanitation supplies during the closure. The club said this will ensure everyone is safe when it reopens. Decatur's new mask mandate means people can be fined for not wearing a mask, but some, including members of City Council, are wondering how the city will enforce the new ordinance. WCIA 3's Cole Hankey has more.
Decatur's latest mask ordinance looks to put some teeth behind the guidelines that health departments across the state have echoed for months. Wear a mask. Cases in Decatur, like most places in the state, have skyrocketed over the last month. The city adopted the ordinance to try and slow that spread, and they are counting on the Decatur Police Department to monitor the public and make sure they're following the rules. But City Councilman Bill Faber doesn't think the police will be able to enforce it.
It's really up to the people. I have my faith in the people. If the people want this to work, they will follow the guidelines. If they don't want it to work, they're going to do whatever the heck they want to do anyway, whether we have, a 100-page ordinance or no ordinance.
Faber voted against the ordinance, saying instead that he wished the city would have just stayed with following the governor's orders. If people are out in stores or getting food without a mask under the new rule, they can be fined $25 for the first offense, and the second offense is $50, and the third is $100. The fourth and every repeated offense after that is $250. Reporting in Decatur, I'm Cole Hankey, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Decatur's mask mandate officially took effect today. Mayor Julia Moore-Wolf says city police will be monitoring whether people are wearing masks. The mayor of Springfield is also going to discuss expanding the city's mask mandate tonight at City Council. Springfield set fines for not wearing a mask 2 weeks ago after council unanimously passed the ordinance. Take coronavirus stats out of the picture, and the death rate has actually increased for some groups over the past 2 years. A University of Illinois professor contributed to a study on the death rate increase. Researchers looked at data from the CDC. They found deaths overall have increased to excess. There's not a clear reason for the trend. Possibilities include people delaying doctor or hospital visits due to COVID, or some COVID-19 cases going undetected. The dean at the U of I's College of Medicine will continue to monitor the CDC's data through March. A man in Thompsonville faces more than half a dozen charges after police say he waved a loaded gun at a hotel in Urbana. Happened early Monday morning at the Eastland Suites on Cunningham Avenue. Police say 22-year-old Elijah Bond pulled a loaded gun on 2 people, using it at one point to stop one of them from moving away. The one jumped from a window by the lobby to get away. Officers found Bond by a car in the parking lot. When they asked about the incident, he reached for his coat pocket where officers saw a handgun. They stopped him and took the gun. They say Bond was drunk. They're still investigating why he pulled the gun in the first place. Decatur police are on the lookout for a car involved in a deadly shooting. Police say the vehicle is a Pontiac Grand Prix between 2004 and 2008. It has dark tinted windows. Police say the driver shot and killed a 63-year-old man. This happened at JB North on North Calhoun Street. They don't know whether anyone else was inside that car. A man from Urbana was back in court today after being accused of soliciting children for sex acts. A 20-year-old man, Joseph Sloan, pleaded not guilty. He's charged with indecent solicitation, aggravated criminal sexual abuse, and predatory aggravated sexual assault. Urbana police say the victims are relatives. Police in Calumet City and Cook County reached out to Urbana to start investigating after Sloan moved to central Illinois. They say there are possibly several victims between the two cities, all relatives, and they're still interviewing potential victims. Sloan will be back in court next month. A law office in Farmer City is closed after a fire. This happened at the Gamage Law Office yesterday around 3. It's on the corner of Main and Water. Nobody was hurt, but crews were on the scene until about 6 last night. The outside of the building was okay, with most of the damage done inside. The fire did spread to the flower shop next door, but it will be repaired. Metal Construction is working on restoring the property and talked about their next steps today.
Right now, we just mainly have to make the site safe. And, for people to go in so they can get their belongings out, whatever can be salvaged. And then we will stabilize the building's different rooms, determining by how much water is in there.
The cause of that fire is still under investigation. If you're having trouble paying your water bill, there is help available. Our company is trying to ease that burden. Plus, it's been 7 years since dozens of tornadoes broke out in just a single day. We're going to take a look back at those that hit our area.